Your support, finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
MNsure is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Looking for health insurance but not sure where to start? MNsure has you covered. You can find discounts, compare private health plans, and see if you qualify for free or low-cost insurance plans. Plus, get help from an expert so you can save on the coverage you need. Enroll online by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Get started today at mnsure.org. That's mnsure.org.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Discover Matrilineal Memory by hobby artist Michaela Schaefer, now in view at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. This evocative exhibition features paintings, poetry, and installations that explore memory and cultural preservation. Don't miss the Artist Talk with Michaela Schaefer on Saturday, November 15th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. at the gallery. Matrilineal Memory is open through December 13th. Experience art that transforms memory into connections and healing. Details at allmyrelationsarts.org.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 33, then Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 51. Heat up these cold nights with the hottest musical acts around at Crooner's Supper Club. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. Visit croonersmn.com to view their schedules and food menus.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut. Hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings that wounded me.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, I want to just give a quick shout out to all our Ho-Chunk out there and all our natives that are celebrating and today. And I just have a few things, honoring our native people that have served. And I just want to read a couple things here. We're going to have Arvina Martin on today, and we're going to have a nice long conversation with Emerge Wisconsin. I just want to throw these things out here for Native American contributes to the U.S. military since World War I. We had 14,000 American Indians and Alaskan Natives that fought in World War I. 44,000 served in World War II, among them code talkers for more than 30 different tribes. 10,000 people in Korea, and then more than 80,000 served in Vietnam, and 30,000 served today in battles and posts around the world. So it's just a big shout out to our natives, and that we have a high percentage of Native Americans that serve, and we're really grateful for you, and we celebrate this day with you and the whole community here. So just wanted to really bring up the show, bring it up right away. Honoring our natives, the women in the military serve with strength, courage, and dedication. Our grandmothers and granddaughters and mothers, sisters, nieces, and aunties have dedicated their lives to protect and uphold the peace while often facing challenges far beyond the battlefield. So again, a big shout out. Really appreciate our military today, and I just want to give a shout out to Bob Pilot, the original Bob Pilot. He served. My father served in World War II in the B-17s, and then also he served in Korea, which as a young person, I remember that, and remember his uniforms and things like that. And I just didn't put two and two together that Korea and World War II were like 8 years apart. So my father had been in World War II and flying in the Air Force with the B-17s, and 8 years later he got called back. I mean, think about that. He had a life, a wife, and all these things, and he got called back for the Korean conflict. So it blows my mind, and I didn't ever put two and two together until later in my life that there was such a long gap between there. But again, a big shout out to the veterans here and all our Native veterans out there, and they're so important to us, and as Native people. And I'm gonna bring our friend Arvina Martin on here because as you all know, for listening to me all these years, I am the king of ums. And so I'm about to bring Arvina on, and Arvina, welcome as always. We really appreciate you, and appreciate you always coming on and doing a great show and making me look good. So hey, welcome, Arvina.
Hello, happy Veterans Day.
I can't hear you for some reason. That's weird. Huh.
Let's see. Can you hear me
are
now?
Unmuted. Weird. I wonder if you mind leaving and coming back. Yeah, thanks. So Arvina and I are gonna have a good talk here about what's going on politically, and I love having Arvina on because not only is she's Ho-Chunk, but she's got the heartbeat of what's going on here in Wisconsin and Minnesota, and so we're really excited to have Arvina on here. And I just want to, while she's coming back, Arvina Martin is the first Native person ever elected to Madison, Wisconsin's Common Council, and was elected vice president in 2020 by her peers. Arvina is an enrolled member of the Ho-Chunk Nation, is Stockbridge-Munsee, and has worked with Native communities throughout her entire career, which, we're grateful to have her. Let's try it again, Arvina. Are you there?
Hello?
Oh, no, I can't hear you. That's weird.
I'll try from my phone.
Oh, yeah. Let's try that. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah. We're going to try and call Arvina on the phone here. So let's try and do that. Oh. Hello. I got an echo now. So I wonder if it's been me the whole time. Well, technology, it's pretty crazy here. Just want to, could other people hear Arvina, and was it just not me? We have our Santina, that our listener Santina, and she's always listening, and we really appreciate her and her feedback and things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna try and call Arvina. This is like oh, there we go. Let's see here. This is radio at its best.
Hello.
How's it going, Arvina?
Not bad. I just found my headphones. I'm going to try plugging that into my laptop first, and if that doesn't work, I will jump on with my phone.
Well, that's great. So you're on the air right now. I just want to let you know.
Hello.
Yeah, that's awesome. We got like 3 minutes left in the segment, and then we'll be on the whole show, and we'll talk. We got a lot to talk about, so hopefully you can get back on to our StreamYard there and do that. So how are you doing? I know you had a big event this last week, and how did that go?
We had a great event called A Seat at the Table, kind of commemorating the spirit of Shirley Chisholm, who said, if you don't have a seat at the table, pull up a folding chair. It's been a very rough year. We all know this, and we are in the middle of a government shutdown that is now like one of, if not the longest government shutdown in history. And we still had lots of wins to celebrate. We were joined by the legislative Democratic leaders in Wisconsin, both women, Emerge alum Senator Diane Hesselbein, and in the state assembly, we have leader Representative Greta Neubauer. So they joined us and talked to us about, what's been happening in Wisconsin and what we have to expect in 2026. And, we also, and actually the program was Thursday, so I had to rewrite my entire, program agenda because we had all of the wins last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Not only did Democrats win really big on Tuesday, but women ran and won at high rates and won some pretty high profile races, including Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey, Abigail Spanbauer in Virginia, and she is the first female governor in Virginia history. She is also an Emerge Virginia alum.
Wow.
Yeah, and we had the first female mayors in Albany, Detroit, and right by you in St. Paul.
Yes.
I don't have her name in front of me, so I cannot remember what it is. But she is. I do know that she's also not just the first female mayor, but the first Hmong mayor.
Yeah. Hey, let's take a break and see if we can get you back on StreamYard. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we are with Arvina Martin. Stay with us. Oh, wow.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Discover Matrilineal Memory by Hopi artist Michaela Schaefer, now in view at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis.
Hello.
Exhibition features paintings, poetry, and installations that explore memory and cultural preservation. Don't miss Artist Talk with Michaela Schaefer on Saturday, November 15th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. at the gallery. Matrilineal Memory is open through December 13th. Experience art that transforms memory into connections and healing. Details at allmyrelationsarts.org.
November is Native American Heritage Month, a time to honor Indigenous history, art, and identity. At the Minneapolis Institute of Art, celebrate the contributions of Indigenous peoples across the Americas with programs and exhibitions that center around cultural resilience and deepen understanding through creative expression. MIA's month-long celebration includes free activities for the family, art making for adults, and a special showing of Smoke Signals, a story of friendship and healing. Celebrate, learn, and connect at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Find full details and ways to participate at artsmia.org.
We've all seen the effects of wood smoke pollution this year, so before hosting that backyard bonfire, follow these simple tips to protect yourself others, and the environment. Remember to give your neighbors a heads up before building a fire so those who find wood smoke bothersome can close their windows. Make sure to never burn wet or recently cut wood, other yard waste, plastic, or garbage. These things can be toxic when burned and create excess smoke. For more tips on how to burn responsibly, visit epa.gov/burnwise.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Let's try Arvina. Arvina, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay! Wonderful.
I like this so much better, so I can talk to you face to face. Geez, I just want to say too, I think Arvina, we've met probably 6 times in person, maybe
Something
7.
like that. Yeah, definitely fewer than 10.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got a bunch of things to celebrate, and I want to get back into that list. But I also want to just mention too, when that lieutenant governor just yesterday, our lieutenant governor of Minnesota, just got an endorsement from Bernie Sanders, which to me is huge.
Yeah, and especially in light of, of the events of last week, getting a major supporter and endorser like he used to be governor, sorry. Senator Sanders is a big deal. He's kind of he's a bastion, and we also know that Minnesota has quite a progressive history, and I think that endorsement is going to mean a lot to a lot of voters. I think it's great. I'm really glad she got it.
Right, and there's another Angie Craig who's also running too as a Democrat. She's really more of a moderate, and she's really so we are, and the money's really pouring in for her, and so we're really making a big push for our friend Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. So there's things that I don't want to get into, but we're just going to really support Lieutenant Governor. But and everyone, I think it's interesting too. Everyone, when Bernie ran for president, I think we all got into possibly, he had so many people that were just regular people giving him $27.95 for the longest time. And I believe Lieutenant Governor is in that same boat where regular people are just giving her money, and these PACs are funding another candidate. So it's an uphill battle, but we definitely here at Native Roots Radio and all our Native friends and allies here that listen, hopefully will support the Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah, and actually, the average donation size or contribution size is a kind of a stat that people look at, because like you said, if you are getting the majority, you've raised all of this money, you've raised $5 million, but you've raised like $1 million. Like, this is not realistic numbers or anything, but you raised it all from 5 people. That is not impressive the same way, raising 5 million when the average vote or the average contribution was 15. That's so many more supporters,
Yeah.
and it just, it shows the strength of the grassroots, and where where the people are actually looking to show their support.
That reminds me too. I always they show the state of Minnesota and what's red and blue, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, most of the state is blue," and it's like, well, land can't vote. There's not that many people in these areas that they just smear with the big red. People vote.
Yeah.
So that really is kind of a really scary misnomer I always see when elections come up.
Yeah, if you were to make the area, the number, like the representation, the physical representation of the red and blue, if you broke that down to represent the number of voters, not the area, the geographic boundaries of that, you're going to get a much more accurate look at who supports who, because you're right, that's just empty land, not empty land in the Terra Nullius colonizer point of view, but empty land in the terms of there's not voters there.
Well, what's interesting too is that we have some people that have not come out as of yet full force because they wanted to wait for this election to end. But I know there's some friends of ours that are running in Wisconsin, and I know there's a few Native people that are running here in Minnesota that we're really excited to promote in this next, I guess it's 11 months, this next cycle, right?
We are inside 12 months, which is kind of scary, but at the same time, coming off the wins of last Tuesday, I think a lot of us on this side needed to see people coming out and seeing the things that Democrats are running on, things like affordability of health insurance, affordability of groceries, etc. Those are the real kitchen table issues that is what people care about right now, because it's up in the air, and with all of the tariffs and with the uncertainties with the healthcare subsidies, it puts people in such a state of of anxiety in that you don't know what to do, because something's you don't know how to prepare, because you don't know what's going to happen, and it's stressful, and seeing people come out and support Democratic candidates, both moderate and progressive, I think was really a big deal. It shows that we are, as Democrats, should be thinking of ourselves as this big tent party. I think that we need to start thinking about our differences as not something that is bad, but we need to think of ourselves as a coalition, I think.
Yeah.
Of moderates and progressives.
And that's a good point. And I'm glad you brought that up. It seems like a long time ago that we had this victory because of what's happened in between. But AOC brought that up too when she was interviewed by MSNBC. It's just like, I wouldn't be able to win in Kentucky, but there's somebody Democrat there that could win, that would be able to talk to their people. And it isn't the same kind of Democrat that's in New York, for example. And so
exactly
that's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we together form this coalition that is the Democratic Party. And, primaries are when we need to have our discussions, and we need to make sure that that we are vetting everybody, and we see who earns the support. And then after, progressives were told and have been told, blue no matter who, and hold your nose but vote. And I think we need to recognize now that maybe there's going to be moderates who, if they're not happy with the results after a primary, that it's still blue no matter who. It's just the other side of the coalition that we want to work with, and knowing that moderate or progressive, we're all going to get closer to our goals with one of those in office. We will not get closer to our collective goals, and even our goals that are separate from each other, by having a MAGA candidate in that seat.
Well, it's funny. I'm glad you weren't able to come on yesterday, because I went crazy. I had Bob Blake from Red Lake on, and we went crazy. So now I've relaxed a little bit about, I don't know if you've listened to Gavin Newsom just recently, but he's totally outraged at what's happening But I think there's an in-between sweet spot that we should talk about in the next segment there, and get that out, because I want to remind everyone when it comes to this vote that's happening and happened, and that the Democrats, 8 of them or 7 of the Democrats, and one was an independent, and some aren't running for re-election again, voted to open up the government again. I just want to remind everyone, and in the next segment too, Arvina, is that let's not be mad at these 8 people. Let's be mad at the 52 Republicans that are voting for this crap. That's where we should be really looking at.
Yeah, we can't. Yes, you are absolutely right.
But that isn't what I said yesterday. So I was like crazy yesterday. So I'm glad you're here with a little more sense than me. We can have a good conversation next segment.
Yeah, sounds good.
Right on. Hey, we're here with Arvina Martin, director of Emerge Wisconsin, and of course we want to talk about that a little later in the show. And I don't know, we didn't want to talk about the Vikings, and I don't know if we should talk about the Packers maybe next week. And yeah, exactly.
Curses.
Hey, I know, curses is right. Well, you can't win them all. And
No.
Right. Hey, we're here with Arvina Martin. This is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us. Oh.
MNsure is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Looking for health insurance but not sure where to start? MNsure has you covered. You can find discounts, compare private health plans, and see if you qualify for free or low-cost insurance plans. Plus, get help from an expert so you can save on the coverage you need. Enroll online by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Get started today at mnsure.org. That's mnsure.org.
Discover Matrilineal Memory by Hopi artist Michaela Schaefer, now in view at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. This evocative exhibition features paintings, poetry, and installations that explore memory and cultural preservation. Don't miss the Artist Talk with Michaela Schaefer on Saturday, November 15th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. at the gallery. Matrilineal Memory is open through December 13th. Experience art that transforms memory into connections and healing. Details at allmyrelationsarts.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
We've all seen the effects of wood smoke pollution this year, so before hosting that backyard bonfire, follow these simple tips to protect yourself, others, and the environment. Remember to give your neighbors a heads up before building a fire so those who find wood smoke bothersome can close their windows. Make sure to never burn wet or recently cut wood, other yard waste, plastic, or garbage. These things can be toxic when burned and create excess smoke. For more tips on how to burn responsibly, visit epa.gov/burnwise.
November is Native American Heritage Month, a time to honor Indigenous history, art, and identity. At the Minneapolis Institute of Art, celebrate the contributions of Indigenous peoples across the Americas with programs and exhibitions that center around cultural resilience and deepen understanding through creative expression. MIA's month-long celebration includes free activities for the family, art making for adults, and a special showing of Smoke Signals, a story of friendship and healing. Celebrate, learn, and connect at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Find full details and ways to participate at artsmia.org.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota private colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
Cafe Latte offers made-from-scratch soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts.
So come check out their pizza and wine bar, or get a treat from the bakery made fresh daily. Plus, you can still do online ordering and takeout, along with gift cards. Just go to cafelatte.com and choose from their ever-changing selection of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups. Cafe Latte is located off Victoria and Grand and online at cafelatte.com.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 33, then Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 51. Time is running out for your chance to see Children's Theater Company's production of Roald Dahl's mischievous tale, The Enormous Crocodile. The show only runs through November 23rd, and tickets are going fast. Get your tickets today at childrenstheater.org.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Hey, we are here with our friend Arvina Martin, Emerge Wisconsin CEO, Director, and we love talking to our sister from across the river here in the Twin Cities, and we just really appreciate you. And again, I'm glad you didn't hear the show yesterday, Arvina, because Bob and I were going off, and you had to get close to the panic button because we were getting ready to swear and everything. But now cooler heads have prevailed, and again, I think we can talk a little bit about how you felt too, maybe right away when you saw that. But well, how did you feel when you heard that was happening, especially after these big victories with 8 million people at the No Kings rally, and then this big landslide blue tsunami? Almost said salami.
I heard you almost get there. I was like, he's gonna say it.
Oh, I haven't talked to anyone all day, and I think I have a little teeny cold. So that's
no.
I think that's my excuse.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's roll with it.
How did you feel when you heard that? Oh, and let me back up. I'm so sorry. I want to back up and say this too. Happy Veterans Day, and I started the show off that way, and then also, of course, happy Native American Heritage Month. I wanted to say that to you,
and to you too. I also believe that it is Rock Your Mocks Week.
Yes, it is. I should be wearing those too.
Yeah. If I leave the house, I'll put on my mocks.
Yeah. So how did you feel? I mean, were you crazy like me and Bob, or were you just like more rational about what was happening, and the travel and people not being fed and things like that overrode maybe some of your anger with the Democratic Party?
Yeah, I was really disappointed too. I was really upset. And I'm still processing my feelings on all of this. So like, to say that I have like super well thought out feelings, it would not be true at this point. I am crushed that we are not getting the protections that we need for healthcare subsidies. It's terrible. I'm very unhappy that we've not gotten that, or any kind of help with health insurance and premiums and all the prices going up. But I did talk to somebody in an area that has a lot of federal workers, and she was talking about how rough it is for those folks who have not been able to be paid for now over a month. And that gives me a little, I empathize with that. So I can't be like 100% angry and say this was absolutely the wrong decision. Do I think it sucks that we don't have the thing that we wanted to hang on to? Absolutely. And I wish we could have held on. I do. But at the same time, I do understand especially in areas that have large numbers of federal workers. We actually have quite a few federal workers here in Madison, between help government, like the VA, et cetera, so you see people around you hurting, and hurting, and not just even hurting in like a kind of general or vague way, but people who are not able to pay their bills, and there's no SNAP now, for a lot of folks. We luckily in Wisconsin got our funding, and that governor put it on SNAP cards ASAP, and then had the Trump administration come back and say, can you please give that back? And he said no, like literally that was his response. So yay, Governor Evers. But seeing people struggle to pay their bills for their homes and to put food on the table, like those are the literal, those are things that you need to sustain your life.
Well, I want to say this too, and again, kudos to Governor Evers for sure. But what I want to say too is that, these Republicans and president are being outed right now. Is that they want to starve people and they want to mess with your health insurance, and those are the things that are going to be echoing for the next 11 months. And so I believe that the message is clear now, especially through this whole shutdown, and hopefully we don't have a short memory and the news cycles fly by as they do. But again, that's a whole nother story that we talk about here, that how disappointing mainstream media has been. And I guess maybe because we're really paying attention, and maybe they've always been this way.
Well, I feel like mainstream media has been like this for a while, unfortunately. But, we have a responsibility to keep talking about it. And that goes for all of us. When people try to, pin the lack of SNAP on Democrats, you can say the Trump administration literally went to court to say, we're not going to, we don't want to do this. Literally to the Supreme Court to like this was not a passive, well, we just have to wait and see how this plays out. This was an active step that the Trump administration took to take food out of families' mouths. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and we need to keep echoing that and talking about that, because what we found out right away was that they just do so many corrupt and maniac things. The first 100 days, everyone was swimming and getting depressed, their minds, there was so much going on. But if we can stay focused on these things, and I believe we can, we're going to have a big tsunami. And I don't know if the first segment we cut you off, but all those great things that happened on Tuesday was one of the things that we should really, if there's any more celebration there, those are the things we should really focus on. And I appreciate you bringing that up, because that's huge, and that's what I want to focus on now too.
Yeah, no, I still have lots more, there were a lot of firsts. And I also want to say that Emerge candidates nationwide did incredibly. We did mention Abigail Spanbauer, but in Pennsylvania, they elected, I can't remember the name, I think it's Downingtown, Pennsylvania, elected the first out trans mayor in the country, and she is an Emerge alum. Emerge Washington alums include a woman who is the first Kurdish person ever to be elected to any governmental body in the entire country. She an Emerge Washington alum, and also the first Black city attorney in Seattle was an Emerge alum. I'm actually going to look at my notes quick, because the Emerge Virginia wins, besides Abigail Spanbauer, were insane. They had like a historic night. They Emerge alums in Virginia won 25 House of Delegates seats, including flipping all 8 of the red districts where they ran. So 1/4 of the House of Delegates in Virginia is going to be an Emerge alum. So yeah, that's incredible. And big ups, shout out to my start day sister Danica Rome at Emerge Virginia, who is just kicking all the sheesh all over Virginia. Yes, so we are super stoked, and I think that bodes well. I think that kind of counters a lot of the, well, we can't be talking about identity politics anymore.
Right.
We've got this shows that people's identities do matter, and that people whose identities are varied are going to have different kinds of experiences. And we know, I mean, this is basic, and I still maintain that having people from a wide variety of backgrounds leads to better policy making and leads to more inclusive policy making and leads to better things for everybody.
Well, again, you were mentioning too, Vang Her's mayoral win in St. Paul, the first Hmong and first woman mayor in St. Paul history. And we almost flipped to super progressive in Minneapolis, but Mayor Fry held on to that very barely. And again, I was always told that, it always swings left or way right, and it swings way left. And I think we're going to be on the uptick of that. And we really need to, I don't know, we haven't won yet, but I really like to see more Supreme Court people, things like that take care of, and some more stopgaps for the president's power and all these things that I really am hopeful for after the blue tsunami in less than a year.
Well, I also think that's great. The great reason for, I mean, that it's great that election happened right before it, like right at the 1 year mark. We've got some energy now, and I don't know exactly when your spring elections are in Minnesota, but we have spring elections in Wisconsin every year, and we are going to have another state Supreme Court seat up on our statewide ballots in April. There's also likely, there's going to be like county board seats and school board seats and other kinds of local seats that are going to be up for election in the spring. So, if you're thinking about running, like we always say someone should run, somebody should do this. Well, it's getting to that time where we all realize that we are all somebody, and that we all can put ourselves in this world and serve our communities and run for these seats.
Yeah, I really believe in this next month is very crucial for people to step up. Is that a good this next month, or how long do you think people have to make this decision? Because we need them to make decision yesterday.
I mean, we are getting really close. Actually, Emerge is hosting another Step Forward. So the National Emerge is hosting a Step Forward training that teaches about what you need to do before you, like while you're making a decision on how to run for office. So things about how to prepare yourself as a person, how to prepare yourselves as a candidate, how to prepare your friends and family, and things that you should, and how to choose what seat to run in. And if you go find Emerge America on social media, you will find information about that Step Forward. I will be leading it. It's going to be happening tomorrow night. I believe it's 6 p.m. Central. Yeah. So go to Emerge America's social media, and you will find information on that. Again, I'll be leading that, and we will be joined by Emerge alum and so she's an Emerge sister and a roller derby sister, Portland, Maine City Council woman April Fournier, who is Navajo, will be joining us.
Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back with Arvina Martin. Stay with us. Hoa.
MNsure is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Looking for health insurance but not sure where to start? MNsure has you covered. You can find discounts, compare private health plans, and see if you qualify for free or low-cost insurance plans. Plus, get help from an expert so you can save on the coverage you need. Enroll online by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Get started today at mnsure.org. That's mnsure.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota private colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
Discover Matrilineal Memory by hobby artist Michaela Schaefer, now in view at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. This evocative exhibition features paintings, poetry, and installations that explore memory and cultural preservation. Don't miss the Artist Talk with Michaela Schaefer on Saturday, November 15th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. at the gallery. Matrilineal Memory is open through December 13th. Experience art that transforms memory into connections and healing. Details at allmyrelationsarts.org.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio. Hoka, hicha, wecha.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are here with Emerge Director and CEO Arvina Martin, and our friend Arvina. The time just flies. There's so much going on, and you know, what I really enjoy is having you on, not only the national perspective, but we have so many listeners in Wisconsin, and we really need to get the word out for women to reach out to Emerge and really run, because timing's everything, and I think the time is now.
Well, absolutely. And that is a perfect lead into an announcement that because of last Tuesday, you know, we've heard from a lot of women from across Wisconsin, and we are going to be extending our application period. So our new application deadline is going to be Sunday, November 30th. So yes, it's right after Thanksgiving, but you know, it gives you a couple weeks now. That's all 19 days to fill out your application, which you can find by going to wi.emergeamerica.org or by emailing me, Arvina, ARVINA, at emergewi.org. You know, I hope Tuesday was as inspirational and cup filling. You know, when we talk about the cup, you can't pour from an empty cup. I hope that put some liquids back in your cup. It did for me. And you know, we need to remember that feeling and that hope that we felt on Tuesday and Wednesday last week, and use that to help fuel us for the next year. Because, you know, like I said, if you are thinking about running for office in the spring elections, you know, our signature gathering period in Wisconsin starts and goes from December 1st to the first in office day after the New Year's is. So, you know, that's coming up in a few weeks. So think about it now. Join us for our Step Forward tomorrow. It'll be about an hour long. And really think about it. You know, Native people especially, you know, our voices are needed on every legislative body, in every executive office that we have. Like our just like Native issues are human issues are Native issues, Native voices are human voices as well, you know? And
feel that.
yeah, I was
Feel that.
I'm pleased with myself for pulling that.
T-shirt time. Hey, I probably you can't speak for her, but boy, I wish Trisha Zunker would run again. She did so well in that gerrymandered area. Geez, I just wish our sister Trisha would run again.
Yeah, I mean, and not only so that that congressional district of Wisconsin can have decent and humane representation in Congress. That seat is going to be an open seat, as its current Congressman Tom Tiffany is running for governor. He announced that, and tribes, Native people, beware of him. He wrote a letter to the DOJ asking them to prosecute and punish the Lac du Flambeau tribe for protecting their sovereignty during their ongoing legal battles surrounding their road, and is trying to make the Apostle Islands a national landmark, I think it is, but has not consulted tribes on it, and has not made assurances that the Ojibwe bands, that their members and their descendants can still continue to exercise their treaty rights of hunting and gathering food and medicines, etc., on those lands. And that should be a big red flag for Native people. He doesn't respect our sovereignty at all.
Right. No, and I believe that's something every time you and I get together here on Native Roots Radio, we should remind our listeners, because that's insane.
Yeah. I mean, that to me is more than just a policy dispute. That is disagreeing with our, or not believing in what is true and what is the law of the land, which is the treaties that exist between Native nations and the United States. And he's not willing to abide by those.
Wow. Just crazy. Wow. I don't know. Should we switch gears right now? Because there's I just really appreciate you and talking about and talking me through what happened and staying positive and what really is happening. Again, I'm angry at the other 52 senators that are Republican, and we're going to have to move on and really amplify the fact that the Republicans don't want people to eat. They don't want people to have insurance that's reasonably priced, and so those things are going to be hitting people's pocketbook right now. And
we need. I was going to say, and everybody out there, push back when you hear that. Oh, well, it was the Democrats who. No, this was not the fault of Democrats. This is the fault of Republicans.
I am so sick of, I got to say this, Arvina, today, I walk, I try and get 15,000, 10,000 steps a day. And I walk to get my new glasses, and I went to have breakfast where I go a lot. And it's within, a couple miles from my house. And I had a conversation, just to make a long story short. I found out the owner's MAGA, and I just said, you know what, this will be the last day I ever come here.
Yeah.
And that's how we can respond to things too.
Yeah, voting with your pocketbook is something that they actually listen to, these big corporations, so maybe instead of buying your presents off of Amazon or from Walmart or Target, maybe you look for your local Native creator, buy some beautiful beaded bling for your sweetie, look for
go to Native Roots Trading Post this
winter. Absolutely.
Wendy's selling art and cards and things at Southdale, the first mall in the United States. And so I agree 100%. We only have like a minute left here. I have to talk to you about, I don't want to talk about the Vikings anymore. I'm really after watching that, but should I but then Green Bay lost.
Oh, it was tragic. I was very disheartened watching the entire game. And it didn't help that it was such a low scoring game. It was, so that was not fun. And I am feeling kind of bad for our kicker McManus, who, had a couple, he's had some rough games coming back from that quad injury. But that last field goal, it was long and it was windy. And that's tough. I couldn't kick the ball that far, so
So
I can really make contact with the ball if I try to kick it. Let's be real.
Okay, we got 30 seconds. Give out the Emerge Wisconsin information one more time.
Yes, wi.emergeamerica.org. Find us on Instagram and Facebook as well. And yes, reach out.
Thank you so much, Arvina Martin, Merge Executive Director and Ho-Chunk citizen. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. If you're listening to the show, you're part of the resistance from Chief Plentycoops, the ground in which we stand on. It's sacred ground. It's the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office, and vote, vote, vote. We're still here. We are the 7th generation. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Arvina.
Hi, thank you.
The city of Minneapolis is now on